And with that, let's welcome on Nick Eatman. He covers the Dallas Cowboys or DallasCowboys.com. Is exciting. Me and Nick have gone back a couple of years now. Nick, thanks for joining us here on the Ultimate Cleveland Show.
Yeah.
Not the Ultimate Dallas Show. We're here in Cleveland now. And appreciate you taking a few minutes to help us preview this primetime America's Game of the Week, a Week 1 matchup.
You guys are bringing the heat when it comes to baseball. I mean, it's football season started. I can't even imagine what I'm about to get into for this.
Welcome into the Lion's Den, brother. Well, yeah, we bring heat. We don't leave it. We leave nothing on the table, Nick.
Yeah, Nick, I'm curious. Yeah. Because obviously the Cowboys have a big fan base around the country, and I have a number of friends, where I grew up in New York who are Cowboy fans, and the Cowboy fans that I know from New York. I don't know Cowboy fans from Dallas. The Cowboy fans I know from New York are the worst fans. They're bandwagon fans. When the team's good, they're into it. When they're not good, they're not. And all of them crap all over Dak Prescott. I will never understand this. I think Dak Prescott is the most underrated, underappreciated quarterback in the entire NFL.
Wow.
I'd take him here in a minute. I know I'm not saying he's been perfect in the playoffs. He hasn't. He's had his bad games. But I don't blame him solely for the playoffs. Every year that he's been there. This guy's been a top 10 quarterback consistently, and I don't get it. Is this a minority? Am I hitting a minority of fans? Or in general, do Cowboys fans crap all over Dak Prescott?
Well, yes, I think it's very similar to what Tony Romo felt as well. The difference is that people like to compare him to other quarterbacks in the league. And Cowboy fans, as spoiled as they might have been back in the day, he's not Roger Staubach and he's not Troy Aikman. And that's the comparison that he gets. The Cowboy fans, to me, are no different than maybe you would say Yankees or Lakers or whatever, because you're not just going up against right now, you're going up against history, and that's unfair to the players, but that's just the reality, and that's where it comes from, because the standard is so high, whether they're good enough to reach it or not. That's the standard, and that's what makes Cowboy fans, even some of them, very frustrating, because they expect things that really aren't reality sometimes.
I would say, though, that, not that I'm telling you something you don't know, but, those Cowboy teams, especially with Aikman, I mean, come on, they were so talented. They were way more talented than any of these Cowboy teams. I mean, these Cowboy teams are talented, but that was just absurd.
They were Hall of Fame good.
The Herschel Walker trade is the greatest trade in the history of sports, baby.
From the Cowboys' perspective.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe Minnesota disagrees. No, but I think that's the point, is that's what you're right. They can't compare to that. And so every year the number goes up. It's 29 years since the Cowboys, 28 years since the Cowboys made it to a Super Bowl. I mean, that's not this team's problem. That's not McCarthy's problem. It's not Dak's problem. But that's where it's the reality is. So every time they don't make it, that number keeps getting attached to it. That's my point, is that they're chasing ghosts from the past. That it's not really up to them. So when the Cowboy fans say, hey, Dak is not this or this, it's because I think the expectations are very high, probably unrealistic at times. But, I mean, I still think this is a very good team, and it'll be competitive all year long. Every game is going to be a fight, including this one coming up Sunday.
Nick, your running back room's interesting because you got Dalvin Cook in there. You've got Zeke Elliott in there. The problem is it's not 2018, right?
Yeah, that would have been a great running back room 8 years ago.
And you got this undrafted kid who's maybe the best of the bunch, right? So what do we expect on Sunday from the Cowboys rushing attack?
I think that, I mean, interesting is putting it nicely because it depends on who you ask, and I think you're referring to maybe Rico Dowdle as the other. Yeah.
Yep.
There's people that think he's the most explosive back of the group. Then there's some that you got to put Zeke in there because he'll get short yardage. He'll do pass protection, which is obviously important. Dalvin Cook is a name that people know. And then Deuce Vaughn's a guy that everyone just thinks is going to light up the world. And so all of them create a weird dynamic. I'm not even sure if we'll see Dalvin Cook play. He's on the practice squad. They could elevate him. But I think you're going to see a heavy dose of Zeke in this game with splashes of Rico Dowdle. And I would imagine by the end of this game, people are going to say, Rico Dowdle. Just like every team in the league, it seems like the backup running back's always exciting, always the fan favorite, and probably by week 2 or 3, you'll be hearing people say Rico should play more. That's just the nature of it.
When you look at it, CeeDee Lamb held out a little bit. Hasn't been on the field, practice field, all that much in the preseason. Are you a little worried about the conditioning, or are you worried about him getting it? I mean, he's almost got 200 targets. Obviously, is a big part of the game plan offensively. Where is he at right now in terms of just him getting back into the swing of things?
Well, Mike McCarthy said it this week that he's on a pitch count, and I think he was referring to practice as far as just getting him back into things. He might be limited in the game Sunday of what they're used to, but I don't think you're going to notice a huge difference. There might be a couple snaps here and there in the series where he doesn't get as much targets or is maybe not even in the game. But I don't think it'll be a drastic, like 50% less. I think it'll be like 80% less of what we've seen from him, and so therefore, he's going to be limited. They're going to be smart about it, but he says he's ready to go, but he also said he wants to get hit in practice a little bit. Not bumped was the word, not hit, but bumped a little bit. If there's any receiver that needs a red jersey as well, it would be CeeDee Lamb. So let's don't hit anyone, but I think bump a little bit just to kind of get that those football jitters out of the way.
Hey, Nick, I can't confirm this, but I have heard reports that Myles Garrett is wearing a bib all week over at Berea, because he's just salivating over the idea of going up against a rookie left tackle. What are we going to see in that matchup?
Well, you'll see a lot of people on the Cowboys sideline praying every time that happens. And if he's not wearing the bib, is Amari Cooper also wearing it as he's going up against Carson? Holy, and then anybody that's right there over the ball on Cooper Beebe. So it's not just those. It's not just Tyler Guyton, but that's the big one because of Myles Garrett. But as I keep saying, and I love Terrence Steele, the Cowboys' right tackle. This is his 5th year. But let's be honest. If Myles Garrett goes to that side and goes up against Terrence Steele, it's not like the Cowboys are good because he's a 5-year vet. Every tackle in the league is going to have his problems with him, and he's just. The problem with trying to block him is you've got speed rushers, and then you've got bull rushers, and then you got both. I mean, he's both. He can do everything. The thing about Guyton, what I like, this is encouraging. Let's don't spin this any other way. But when he went up against Micah Parsons, and I'll be honest, Micah Parsons is not Garrett as far as their body type and all that. But when he went up against Micah Parsons, he actually fared pretty well in practice.
Wow.
Is Micah coming by? Micah hears everything. I don't want to stir it up there. But his length. Talk about Guyton, as you see there. His length helps him. Like any fighter, if you've got reach, you at least can keep them off you. He's got a combination of feet and arms that help him. But he's going to get bull rushed right in the chest early on, and he's going to have to figure that out. He will not get help every snap. He'll get some, but he's going to have to grow up, and it'll be hold your breath. But he did okay. I mean, he actually did well in the short time against Max Crosby in the preseason, and some against Parsons. But we all know this is a different beast over there with Myles Garrett.
Nick, we were just talking before how the Browns are very healthy heading into the season. Cowboys with a big injury with Bland in the secondary. How are they? What is the Cowboys' game plan to make up for that injury there?
Well, the Kalen Carson is a 5th-round pick from Wake Forest, and he is he's had a nice camp. He reminds a lot of people of Deron Bland, who a 5th-round pick from Fresno State, and so he's supposed to be nervous. He's supposed to have these jitters. Maybe he will. But he's one of those guys, like most good cornerbacks, they kind of think they can cover everybody, everything, which gets them in trouble at times. But Carson doesn't lack any confidence. He's wearing 21 now. He moved to 21. Ooh. He'll be, he's ready, and he that's what he says at least. He says he's ready to go. But I like the way he makes plays on the ball. So that's their plan. That's how they're going to replace Deron Bland on the outside is by Carson. Trayvon Diggs, this is his first game since September with an ACL injury. So we'll see if he's 100%. But Amari Cooper to me is one of the best, if not the best, route runner in all of football, and he will make them work. And so it is going to be a tough matchup for those cornerbacks against the Browns for sure.
You would think that Amari would really like to come out and show out against his old team. Nick, in some ways, the Browns and the Cowboys seasons were similar last year. Certainly their path to the playoff was different. The Browns needed 5 quarterbacks. Dak had a great regular season. But the way things came to an end, it was like the music just came to a screeching halt with a disappointing loss in games that they were really never in. What is Dallas's mindset, having gone through the offseason, having to hear all about the playoff disappointment? Where are they as an organization coming into Cleveland on Sunday?
Yeah, that's a good point because and I don't know what the Houston-Cleveland game as far as the expectations of that. I know it was on the road, so probably weren't favored. But the Cowboys were favored to beat the Packers, and they got smashed before halftime, and that was probably one of the worst losses in the history of the franchise, in my opinion, because of the expectations of the season, how it ended. They were never in it. To answer your question, what they've learned, I think, in the last 2 or 3 playoff losses is it. I don't know if you could say baseball's different, hockey's different. Playoff football is different, just like some of those other sports. And the difference is you better run the football and you better stop the run. And the Packers, they snuck into the playoffs, but they kicked their ass. I mean, up and down the field. I hope I can say that, but I mean that's what happened. That's putting it nicely. And the Cowboys, you look at who they've signed. They've added big guys up front. They've helped their linebackers. They've got kind of some bigger guys in the center position. So on both sides of the trenches, they are kind of prepared for big boy football in the playoffs. But as we all know, you have to get there, and nothing's a given.
You know, here locally, sometimes you can get in the echo chamber a little bit. You know, you're so focused on, covering your team. I'm always interested in seeing what the national perspective is. They're down in Dallas. What is the general consensus of the Browns, and what type of team are they, or strengths, weaknesses, and things like that?
Yeah, a team that is. It doesn't matter what they do on the road because that's not where the game is. What matters is when the game is played in Cleveland, it is a fight. It is like you would expect to go into a real life dog pound. That's what it feels like. Like you got to strap it up and get ready to go because they're going to hit you in the face. And that's, I mean, welcome to the NFL because for some of these rookies, because that's the mindset. They people know that the Cowboys couldn't be on the field. They haven't proven they could stay with the 49ers right now. That's their team. Everyone's kind of got their benchmark. Cowboys, they cannot beat the 49ers right now. And a couple of weeks after they got beat, Cleveland went in there and handled them at home. And so, and that people notice that. People see that. It's going to be a physical game on both sides. They like to run the ball. They play really well at home. And they've got dynamic players at their position. Guys like Cooper, guys like Myles Garrett, and Deshaun Watson too. I mean, Watson's only played the Cowboys once when he was with Houston, but he won the game, and so that's going to just be a tough matchup. As literally Mike McCarthy just walked by, like as we speak, just walked by. So it's going to be a good game. It'll be a lot of fun.
Well, Nick,
it's going to be fun, but.
If you get a chance to put a bug in Mike's ear, tell him the guys at the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show think it would be a great idea to maybe give a shot at center to Zeke. Let him, play center just a couple times. I know that his track record is one play and it wasn't great, but we would love to see that on Sunday.
Wasn't great. Boy, you're the nicest person in the world.
I love Zeke. I love Zeke, so I had to go soft.
When he gets the ball in this game, there's going to be a big sigh of relief from everyone because we will all know that his last play for the Cowboys will not be that.
Yes, you're right.
That won't be his lasting memory. So when he gets one carry, at least we can exhale a little bit and be like, all right, well, at least his career is not going to go down at center.
Yeah. But it happened, and it's on YouTube, and it will live forever. But you're right, it won't be his defining moment for sure. All right, hey, listen, enjoy the game. I hope Cleveland treats you well, and thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
I love going to Cleveland. It's a lot of fun. Every time I go to the Hall of Fame, it's awesome to go there. It's a great town. We always have a good time, so it should be a lot of fun. You guys have a great show, so I appreciate being.
Thank you, brother.
Thanks, Nick.
They've got some great new exhibits at the Rock Hall too. You're going to love it. All right, yeah.